السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد في أول كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في أوسط كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في آخر كلامنا. The ayah which I just recited is an ayah which we hear in every khutbah, be it the khutbah of Jum'ah, be it the khutbah of Eid. And this ayah is being recited in the khutbah for centuries. Whichever part of the world you go to, it has become part of the khutbah. Since the time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah. Why is this one verse being recited week in, week out? What is so special? What is the message? In this ayah, Allah is telling us to do three things. Allah is stopping us from three things. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى. Three things. وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي. Three things Allah is stopping us from. In the month of Ramadan, the month of Quran, where we should be reading Quran, and inshallah we should make an effort to understand the Quran as well. This is the most concise verse in the Quran, the most Jame' in terms of commandments and in terms of prohibition. The surah which this ayah is in is known as Surah An-Nahl. Allah mentions many blessings in this surah. The blessing of life, the blessing of fruits, the blessing of drink, the blessing of milk. But it hasn't been named after any of the other things. The thing that it has been named after is Nahl, bee. What does Allah say? وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ. Your Lord, He sends revelation, He sends inspiration to the bee. What is the command to the bee? أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا. Make your homes in the mountains. وَمِنَ الشَّجَرِ. In the trees. وَمِمَّا يَعْرِشُونَ. In the beehives. Then Allah says, ثُمَّ كُلِي مِن كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ. Then eat from every fruit. فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكَ. Then walk on the path of your Lord. Allah did not say that, oh bee, walk on your own path, go your way. No. Allah said, go on the way of your Lord. The ulama, they mentioned something really amazing here. When a bee is buzzing, move out of the way. Because it is buzzing and it is moving in the path of Allah. Move out of the way. And it is so strong, it is so firm on the command of Allah that it will make sure it goes on the path which Allah has set for it. If something comes on its way, it will stink in order to move that person, that move out of my way. I am trying to walk on the path of my Allah. This should be the iman of a person. My destination is Jannah. I am walking on a path which Allah has set for me. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Anything that comes my way, I am ready to move it out of the way, just like the bee. Let me share with you one hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he takes a qasam. The hadith of Musnad Ahmad, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu is the narrator of the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِي. by the one whose control my life is in. Inna masal al-mu'min ka masal al-nahl lah. The example of a mu'min is like the example of a bee. Now we'll be thinking, how is the example of a bee? What is the similarity between a believer, between a human and a bee? What's the similarity? Does the bee perform salah? Does the bee read Quran? Does the bee give charity? What is the bee doing? What is the similarity? But the Prophet of Allah is saying with qasam that there is a similarity. What is the similarity? The bee, akala tayyiba, it only eats pure things. It only looks for the pure plants, the pure fruits. You know, when we study the life of a bee, we realize that it is very considerate of other bees. If another bee is eating from a certain plant, a bee will not come and move that bee out of the way. It will look for another plant. That should be the life of a believer. You should be considerate of other people. You should eat pure. Our income should be pure, just like the bee. The Prophet ﷺ mentions in another hadith, Inna Allah tayyib, la yaqbalu illa tayyiba. Allah is pure. Allah only accepts pure things. And the command which Allah has given to the prophets, Allah has given the same command to the believers, to the mu'mineen. Ya ayyuha rusul, kulu min at-tayyibat, wa'malu salihah. O believers, O prophets, eat pure things and do good deeds. Allah first mentions eat pure things, then Allah mentions do good deeds. The doing of good deeds is based on how pure our food will be. The more pure our intake, the more good our deeds that will come out through that food will be. Then the Prophet ﷺ mentions a person, Ash'as Aghbar, his disheveled, his dusty, Yutilu Safar, he's in a long journey. Yamuddu yadayhi ila sama, he's raising his hands towards the sky. Yaqul ya Rabb, ya Rabb, he's saying, oh my Allah, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. So he's got four things. Number one, he's disheveled, he's dusty. Number one. Number two, he's on a journey, long journey. Number three, he's raising his hands. Number four, he's saying, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb. So he's got four things together. If he only had one of them, his dua can definitely be accepted. If he just had one. But he's got four. So there is 4 times more chances of his dua to be accepted. Number one, the hadith of Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ mentions, Rubba ash'ath aghbar. There are many people who are very dusty, disheveled. Law aqsama ala Allahi la abar. When they make any dua to Allah, Allah will immediately accept the dua. He's in that situation, he's in that condition. Number two, he's on a journey. The Prophet ﷺ again, he mentions in one hadith, 3 people's dua Allah will never reject. Allah will never reject 3 people's dua. One of them, da'watul musafir, the dua which a traveler makes. A person, he's on a journey, he's traveling. He doesn't need to be traveling to another country, he doesn't need to be traveling far. He can just be traveling half an hour, 1 hour here and there. And that duration, whichever dua he will make, Allah says, I will accept. Every day we get moments like these, where we are traveling. Every week we may be traveling. But we don't value these moments. So that's another condition he's in, that he's traveling. Number 3, he's raising his hands. The Prophet ﷺ mentions, Inna Allah Ta'ala Hayyun Kareem. Allah is very modest, Allah is very shy. When a slave raises his hands to Allah, Allah feels shy to return those hands back to him empty. Meaning a person, the fact that Allah has given a person the ability to raise his hands is a sign that Allah wants to give him something. That is why Allah has given him the tawfiq, Allah has given him the ability to raise his hands. If Allah never wanted to give him anything, Allah wouldn't have given him tawfiq. So the fact that a person has been given the opportunity to make dua, raises his hands, it's a sign that Allah wants to give you something. Allah kuch dena chahta hai. Allah wants to give you something. And Allah will definitely accept. That's another situation, that he's raising his hands. Number 4, he's saying, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb. Aisha radiallahu anha is the narrator of the hadith in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions, any person who says in his dua 4 times, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, or anything to do with Rabb, Rabbana, Rabbi, 4 times, he just mentions it 4 times, Allah will definitely accept his dua. So he's got 4 times more chance of his dua to be accepted. But the Prophet ﷺ mentions, وَمَطْعَمُهُ haram, his food is haram. وَمَلْبَسُهُ haram, his clothing is haram. وَمَشْرَبُهُ haram, the thing he's drinking is haram. فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ, how can his dua be accepted? That is why Mullah Ali Qari rahimahullah mentioned something really amazing. He says, for any dua to reach Almighty Allah, it needs 2 wings. Like the birds, it needs 2 wings. What are the 2 wings? Aklul halal. Number 1, to eat halal. Number 2, sidqul maqal, to always say the truth. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, Ayakun al-mu'minu bakhila, can a Muslim be a stingy person? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, a Muslim can be a stingy. Not every Muslim has that big heart. A Muslim can be a stingy person. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, Ayakun al-mu'minu jabana, can a Muslim be a coward? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes, a Muslim can be a coward. Not every Muslim is a strong warrior. But the 3rd time the Prophet of Allah, the 3rd question he was asked, can a Muslim be a liar? The Prophet of Allah said, no, a Muslim can never be a liar. Either he will say the truth and keep his iman, or he will lie and lose his iman. And then the Prophet ﷺ recited this ayah which was read today. إِنَّمَا يَفْتَرِي الْكَذِبَ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ. Only those people make a lie who have no iman in Allah. So these are the 2 wings for any dua to reach Allah. So one of the quality of a bee is that it only eats halal, pure things, pure. And it only gives out pure as well. It eats, the intake is pure, so the thing that it gives out is so pure, never mind just being pure, it is the most sweetest thing in the world. And it is the greatest remedy in the world. Fi shifa'ul linnas, honey. That is how a Muslim should be. The bee sucks in all the sour, bitter things from the plants, but it gives out sweetness. A believer should be the same. It should take all the bitterness from the world, but it should only give out sweetness to the world. That is the beauty. A believer should be given sweetness to the world. Allama Shibli rahimahullah, he was in a particular area and people were giving him a hard time. So he got fed up one day. People were saying so many things to him, and people were like maybe cursing him, or people were shouting at him or whatever. So he got a headache, so he went out of the area. And as he went out of the area, he saw a nice tree, so he lied down under the tree. And it's as if somebody telling him, as if the tree is telling him something. Ya Shibli kun mithli. Oh Shibli, become like me. Yarmunani bil ahjar, people throw stones at me. Armihim bil asmar, I don't throw stones back to them, I throw fruits back to them. Become like me. So it takes pure things and it only gives pure things as well. The more we will have a control on our diet, the more we will want to do the ibadat of Allah. And then the Prophet ﷺ mentions, finishing the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ mentions that bee, wherever it eats from a plant, it never spoils that plant. It never breaks that plant. It never breaks the plant. It never spoils it. It just sucks in whatever it needs to suck in. That is how a believer should be. He shouldn't spoil anything in the world. He shouldn't break anybody's heart or anything in the world. He should be like a bee. Sweet. Giving out sweetness. One last message inshallah before we finish. Thake to nahi? You guys are not tired? Thake? 5-10 minutes inshallah. One of the most beautiful surah that was recited today also in the Taraweeh is Surah Al-Kahf. The Prophet ﷺ mentions that since Allah has created Adam alayhi salam till Qiyamah, there is no greater fitnah than the fitnah of Dajjal. So Dajjal is the greatest fitnah. Every other fitnah may take your money, may take your life, but Dajjal will attack your iman. He will take your iman away. So the Prophet ﷺ says that when he comes, don't debate with him, don't talk to him, don't meet him, don't greet him. Just recite the opening verses of Surah Al-Kahf. Allah will save you from his fitnah. The opening verses. Fawatih Surah Al-Kahf. The first 10 verses or something. Just recite this. Allah will save you from his fitnah. If this is the fitnah, which is the greatest mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, what do we learn? That all the other fitnah that we are going through today in the world are small, are not as big. Because otherwise the Prophet of Allah would have mentioned it to be big. But the fact that the Prophet of Allah has mentioned that Dajjal is the greatest fitnah, it means that any other fitnah that is to come, which we are living through or which we will come or which has already come, are not big. Fitnah? No, it's not that big of a fitnah. It's still small. It's still small. If Surah Al-Kahf can be a way out, can be a solution for the biggest fitnah, can it not be a solution for the fitnah that we are going through today, which are not as big? Today me and you talk about it, debate about it, discuss it. This is happening in the world, this is going on, this is the fitnah here, this is the fitnah there. And then at the end we will be talk about it for hours and hours on end. What's the conclusion? What can we do at the time of fitnah? What can we do? If Surah Al-Kahf can be a solution to the biggest fitnah, is it not the solution for the fitnah of today? That is why Allama Gangohi rahimahullah used to mention something really amazing. He used to say that in this day and age, every day a person should be reading Surah Al-Kahf, or at least the opening verses of Surah Al-Kahf. Never mind every day, many times a day. Whenever any fitnah is mentioned in front of him, whenever he remembers any fitnah, whenever he talks about any fitnah, he should read Surah Al-Kahf. That is the way out. That is the way out. So it's not time to just sit and debate and discuss. It's at a time to remember Allah. Allah give us understanding. So that is the message from you. Become like the bee. Message number 1. Take lesson from the bee. And message number 2, Surah Al-Kahf every day. Inshallah everybody will do this. Allah give all of us the ability. جزاكم الله خيرا آمين وصلى الله وسلم على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم تقبل صلاتنا وصيامنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. Oh Allah, please forgive all our sins. Oh Allah, please forgive all our major sins. Oh Allah, please forgive all our minor sins. Oh Allah, accept our getting together here today. Oh Allah, accept the tarawih that we performed. Oh Allah, accept the fast that we did. Oh Allah, accept all the ibadat that we are doing in this month. Oh Allah, make us the beloved. Oh Allah, make this Ramadan a special Ramadan. That, oh Allah, we become your beloved. Oh Allah, we become your beloved. Oh Allah, we become your close ones. Oh Allah, accept all our dua in this month and even afterwards. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.